Thank you so much, Dan. Thanks to the college, Mainland, for having me here. So every time, when an artist have an exhibition like this, you always expect at least one person to feel motivated to talk, right? But right now, there's a huge group. I want to thank you so much for being here, and hopefully you learned something new today or appreciate something new today, okay? So from the bottom of my heart, guys, thank you for being here. Hopefully you can last the entire, talk a little bit. If you need to walk out of the gallery, I'm completely fine with that. So I'm not gonna take it personal or anything like that. So yes, I'm Juan Dios Mora. I'm Latino, Mexicano, and I grew up in Mexico. I came here when I was 14 years old. I experienced a little bit, that clash of cultures, when it comes to English and Spanish. But one of the things that motivate me, guys, living at the border, all these injustices, all these things that I see within my community, what I was lacking, okay? So one of the things that I wanted to do, I didn't want to leave, being Latino, Mexicano, sometimes, guys, it's hard to kind of like put into an artwork. So what motivates me to go further, it was my family, my parents, they were hardworking. They always, work 14 hours every day, and sometimes I rarely had the chance to see my parents. So, and little by little, I understand that I need to really, put emphasis into my education. So English is my second language. So from there, I went to middle school, and then to high school, and then went to college, right? So my main goal is just to finish, high school and probably go and work in a restaurant. But my parents like, mijo, you need to go and work. Go to school, because that you're gonna be able to have a better job out there. So my parents, they want me to become an architect, but guess what? It didn't work. I'm here. So, but one of the things I really love about my parents, they always have food on my table. They always motivate me to stay in school. We had disagreements, things like that, but it was just a teenager, guys. Now as an adult, they really love me. Okay? But because of the motivation, guys, it really helped me to understand that, embracing my culture, my identity, and putting it into a paper, what you can see here, it really feels me closer to them. It feels me closer to my culture. It feels me closer to represent my community. It's something that I really love. Living in the border between the United States and Mexico, which is Laredo and Laredo, I understood that there was a lot of things that need to be put into paper. A lot of the imagery you're gonna see here, it has a little bit of kind of like what we call rascuachismo, or a little bit of kind of like things that kind of like they're made of, or vehicles made of different parts or objects, something like that. And that is because my dad, we were really poor. So the way he used to fix things, he needed to patch a door. He just grabbed like piece of piece of hood from the, like the car, cut it out, straighten it, and patch the wall or patch the door, whatever I wanted to fix, And that was a beauty for me, guys. Sometimes, he tried to make it perfect, the cuts, make sure he painted to make sure it kind of fits a little bit within that specific space or the object. But that's what we call rascuachismos, when you actually borrow different objects from different parts. It could be, another, object, it could be from a, car engine, it could be from, shoe, whatever, whatever you can get and just put it together, guys, and fix something. That's something that I really, noticed from my dad. That's being resourceful, and that's what we call appropriation more into the art world. So a lot of these objects is gonna show a little bit vehicles, that shows a little bit the rascuache side. That's how we put things together. So, so you've been here, guys. The first thing I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna do the demonstration. I'm gonna show you how to print this print right here, explain how the technique works. And after that, guys, probably can talk a little bit about the prints and more in depth about what the concept, what they actually, there for, okay? So all these prints, guys, you see here, except for those two at the top, this is actually a different technique, okay? So all these prints right here is using the same technique, what we call relief, which is the stamps. And this is a stamp right here. Probably a lot of you guys, you're aware what a stamp is, right? And this is where, guys, I think a lot of people debate what was the first, art technique introduced to the world or to the humankind. It was printmaking. Why printmaking, guys? When a baby or someone was born, the first step, guys, they leave a mark behind. That's a print. And then there's a second one and a third one. So printmaking, guys, is basically reproducing the same block over and over and over. Okay? So for example, with this one, guys, I can make probably 1,000 prints of this. I'm not gonna do that, okay? But, so, I'm really happy to say I'm a printmaker, and I'm happy to say, hey, you know, printmaking was the first technique introduced to humankind, okay? And after that, you had like the people in the caves, you know, chewing charcoal, spinning into the hand, you know, all these things, but that's something else, okay? So we're printmakers. So what is a printmaker, guys? Printmaking is basically the art of reproducing something, and that something could be a logo, it could be, you know, printing your shirts. For example, this is printmaking right here. A lot of the stuff you see in your shirts, that's printmaking. It's basically a reproduction. It could be treated a little bit more commercial. It could be treated more fine arts. I'll go more into the fine arts, okay? So to reproduce, guys, you're gonna need something that creates pressure. It depends the technique, okay? Most of the printmaking techniques, you're gonna need two different things that's gonna, okay, never mind. So you're gonna need an equipment that's gonna create that pressure, okay? Because what's gonna happen, you're gonna create your imagery, okay? So this is a block, it's a relief block. This one I created, guys. So after that, you have to ink it up, and the ink sitting here, you have to transfer it into something. It could be into your shirt, you wanna print a shirt, you wanna print into paper, you can have the substrate could be paper, could be fabric. A lot of people use it for textile, they use it for ceramics, you know, to do like the ceramic pieces and then they fire the pieces. So you're gonna need a design, okay? And then the device, guys, you're gonna use to print. I'm gonna use a tortilla press. So technically, guys, you use something more like what we call an etching press, a huge thing, you know, kind of go like that. So we don't have one here to show you, but guess what? Since I'm Latino, Mexicano, you know, this one, guys, a lot of you guys are familiar with this, right? So, of course, guys, the coolest thing about this, it has two purposes, okay? One is to make tortillas, and the second one is to make prints, okay? So this one, guys, if you think about it, it's gonna create pressure from the bottom, and this one will create pressure on the top. So being that this one right here, guys, needs pressure to be printed, we're gonna use the tortilla press, okay? So a lot of people, what they do too, they lay down the floor, and then they get a piece of paper, they ink it up, put the piece of paper on top, they lay it down, and they start dancing on top of that, right? That's gonna transfer it, but guess what? We're not gonna do that today. All right, so if you wanna print your own relief prints, the first thing you have to do is just get a tortilla press. You have to modify it, okay? This is another thing that somebody was asking me at the beginning. So you're gonna notice here, there's a gap right here, right? And the reason why we have that gap, so this gap right here, the inside, so we need that gap because it needs to compensate the thickness of your block plus some paper and what we call the backing. It's gonna be just a piece of felt like that. So everything is gonna be even from this point on this side and the other side too as well. Because most of the presses, guys, they're pivoted right here and one edge. If you try to close it, it's not gonna close. Does that make sense? So you need to hide in the back, you need to hide a little bit like that. So when you close it, it's gonna be even pressure all the way across. Make sense? So if you're gonna buy one of these tortilla presses, you wanna make sure you modify it. I do have an Instagram, so I think the flyer's somewhere in that. You're more than welcome to message me, guys. I'll be happy to help you. I'm not asking for followers, guys. I haven't checked my Instagram in probably like 6 months, guys. So, wait, no, I check it, but I don't post. I haven't posted yet because I've been super busy, okay? But you can actually, it has my contact information there, guys. Send me a message and I'll be happy to help you, okay? So you're gonna need the tortilla press. You're gonna need some kind of a backing, guys. If you don't, this is a piece of felt, and when I say felt, this is from etching presses. If you don't have this, you're gonna get some sheets of newsprint, okay? Some kind of like a piece of paper is fine. And you're gonna need a piece of backboard, okay? The backing board, guys, is basically from the back of the sketchbooks. This the newsprint, that probably is all you need, okay? And you're gonna need your design, your lino cut, okay? This is basically linoleum. You can buy it in any store. This is what we call bottle ship linoleum. Okay, you're gonna get a carver. You need to carve out your image. After you carve out your image, you're gonna be able to print, okay? So for that, so let me show you the blades that I use to carve my design. So I'm gonna use this table and then hopefully that's okay. You're asking what I use to carve. I use these little tools. You see here? So these little things, I carve out my image, okay? So this technique, guys, that we call reductive technique, okay? How many of you guys have done the charcoal drawing where you shade the entire, drawing, you get your eraser and you start erasing? That's a reductive technique. That's what I'm doing here. Basically, I'm carving out the white areas. You have to think backwards, guys. All the designs you see here, I'm carving out all the whites. How many of you guys have done the scratch boards, the black ones, guys, where you scratch it, it's just white? That's what it is here, okay? So I use these small blades, guys. And some of these, you ask me, which one do you use? Because sometimes the set comes with 5 different blades. I only use what we call the number 1, which is the smallest one. That gives me the most finest, line in your design. And after that, guys, we have to talk about pressure. If you go deeper, the line is gonna be wider. You go shallow, it's gonna be more fine, okay? Or we call, something I call the feathery, technique, which you start really deep and go up. You're gonna create a thick line and then, a little bit thinner towards the end. That's what we call feathery, okay? So all these techniques you see here, guys, for example, this is a relief, let me say techniques, because that's multicolor technique. But this one right here, I only use this bad boy here, okay? And sometimes, guys, I do kind of get too lazy, I guess, because I need to meet deadlines. You're gonna notice that the line changes a lot, but I was trying to, work with the line, and the line for me is so important. That's what defines the object, kind of give you a little bit more shape, volume. Yes?
You got all of that detail in that picture out of that one, too?
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah.
Okay, it takes me forever, guys. Okay, you ask me? Every time, I kind of like take breaks from working, because literally, guys, my breaks jump from one project to another one. I have like 3 or 4 projects in my house. If I get tired of one, I get to move on to another one. Rarely I sit and watch a Netflix show. I don't know, I have issues, guys, so. But you're gonna use this bad boy right here, okay? So after you carve out the image, like this, you're gonna use, you're gonna need a roller, okay? This roller, guys, you can find in literally any art store, okay? You don't need a spatula. You can just go to Home Depot, just buy a spatula, and that's it. Ink, okay? So ink is different than paint. All right, guys, a question for you, all the students taking classes right now. What is the difference between ink and paint?
One dries. One dries.
Both of them dries kind of the same rate, because it's oil based. Yeah. Viscosity, that's one. All right, guys. A lot of times, guys, when somebody asks me, "Hey, Juan, are you gonna use paint to print?" This is not paint, guys. Because you use paint, first of all, the viscosity. Viscosity means the consistency. It could be a little bit, paint's a little bit more pasty. And this one is more runny, more thin. Does that make sense? So the difference between paint and ink, if you use paint, after a while, guys, the oil is gonna start bleeding out. You're gonna have stains of oil around your image. Does that make sense? And ink is not. Once you print it, it's gonna really retain the figure. Does that make sense? The line. As you can see there, guys, you don't see oil stains, anything like that. But that's the difference between ink and paint. You got it? So a lot of people use acrylic paint, which is actually, okay, but try to stick to the professional ink, which is, this is the Hanko ink. I'm gonna use black, okay? So, sorry guys, I have ink in my fingers, but I'm gonna look good. I promise you that. You don't need that much. So what are you gonna do? Just grab the ink. You're gonna lay it down here. And what I do, I play with the ink. And the reason why is for 2 reasons. The first reason is because this is viscosity, guys. See how runny it is? That's what we call viscosity, okay? So I'm gonna lay down my ink here, and the reason why I do this is because, one, I wanna mix it to make sure this kind of like, if the oils or the pigment separates, I wanna mix it together. It's when you shake your drink, right? So I'm doing that for that reason, okay? The second reason is, sometimes, guys, like a dry ink can sit on top of this, and when you get it, you're gonna have like layers of ink, dry ink. So what I do, if I see a little bit of dry ink, I pick it up and I remove it from my, what we call the slab, okay? So from the slab, guys, I wanna make sure my roller rolls, okay? Looks good. And then you're gonna grab a little ink, you're gonna bring it down like this. And you're gonna go back and forth. And what I do, guys, I go back and forth, I let my roller roll. See, it's rolling. Because whenever I put it down, I don't want the roller to fall in the same spot. Does that make sense? And I do this way to spread the ink. All right, so probably I'm gonna do the inking on this side. All you guys can see it. I'm gonna lay down some, is that okay, boss?
Yes.
Okay, so I have to respect, okay? So I'm gonna just lay down some knee springs there. And we're gonna do here, a lot of you guys probably, you have a little bit of an idea what's going on here. I'm just gonna roll the ink on top of this. I'm gonna go different ways, different directions. It's pretty simple, guys. This, I mean, you buy one of the tortilla presses and then buy some ink. You're gonna be able to print your own, okay? And these designs, what I did is this. Well, I'll show it to you in a little bit and explain the concept too. So once you ink it up, you're ready, okay? Now we're gonna move on into this is the table, right, for printing. Okay, I just want to do the right thing, okay? All right, once you ink it up, you're gonna get into your hands. That's gonna happen, okay? So I'm gonna put my block in here, okay? And then you can use anything to print technically, but because of this tortilla press, they don't give you that much pressure. I do advise you just to use really thin paper. It could be like 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, okay? You can use Oriental paper or Japanese or calligraphy paper, and it prints so nice, okay? So after this, we're gonna lay down my paper on top of the block like that. I'm gonna lay down some sheets of newsprint. Most of the times I do about 3 or 4 sheets of newsprint. This one I'm gonna try the felt, okay? So sometimes I play around to see what I need. I'm gonna do a felt and then I can do it without felt, okay? All right, so after this, guys, it's just doing giving pressure, okay? All right, come on, table, resist. Oh no, I'm destroying it. I'm gonna move over here, okay? No, what happened, guys, it has like little things, knobs, and we need to tie those knobs, and it was going down. So what you do, guys, you need to rotate your block, and I do one side at a time. So that means I do this side, rotate it one side, and so on. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna go all the way around. So when I do this with the kids, I do it on the floor, so the kids can, use their own body as form of, weight to do this. So I just kind of turn it around. I bought it at the flea market. I just modify it. So in Mexico, in Matamoros, they buy, you can buy it in any flea market technically. So, okay, give me 1 second, guys, so you can see. Now the print, guys, is done. So a lot of instructors or educators, guys, you can buy a press if you want to, but technically, guys, this is so inexpensive, guys. And then after this, guys, you're gonna make a print, okay? So the design of this is this Chihuahua Luchador. I don't remember the name of this. I mean, I kind of create this story, guys. We're just kind of goofing around. But then what I do normally, guys, I print this with water-based ink on the shelters. And after that, the kids cut around them and they put the mask on top of the luchador, they glue it. And they take the little luchador, print with them. So, and then I have different designs, guys. I keep expanding every time, when somebody invites me to do a demo, I do different stamps for this. So let me print another one for those of you who arrived just right now. What's happening, okay? Once again, guys, you're gonna just get your, I'm gonna do this here now. And get a little bit ink. You're gonna ink it up. And then, see, when the kids are working with this, I need to cover the entire table with newsprint because they're really messy. And, but the fun of this is basically, all right. Now I'm gonna print this bad boy, okay? Same concept, same approach. I'm just gonna put my design here. I'm gonna grab a piece of paper. You can use fabric if you want to. You can use anything for this, okay? Let me see, this one fits in there. Nope. Give me 1 second. To be fair, I did ask my work study to cut it, and that person did a really bad job. So I'm gonna use this now. So he's awesome. So I don't know why I'm making fun of him. So no, and I'm gonna explain why not. Okay. So this one, guys, the pressure is different, and Fabriano is a really high quality of paper. So probably, it's gonna print salty, but we can try it if you want to. But what I do, guys, when I do the shelter demos, I have this stack of paper, which is different color papers. So all the kids that print multiples and they're leftovers, they can mix and match, designs. So, for example, I get this one, and then you lay down, put it on top. All right. All right, you're gonna do the honors, okay? You're gonna do the demo now. See what happens. Come on, come on. The kids can do better than you now. All right, all right, that's good. Okay, we're gonna flip it around. So remember, guys, this one we had to. Whenever you're printing with this at home, you want to make sure that you rotate it, and you're gonna repeat the same process. Go for it. All right, no, I don't know why I'm making fun of you right now. So, no, you're doing great. So, all right, so go for it. All right, good job. Okay. I feel it's gonna need more pressure. Okay, but we will see. Okay, but there you go. That's gonna be your print. So, the effort you put into, that's what you're gonna get. So, sorry. You're doing great, by the way. Sorry. All right. So this comes, guys. As you notice, I'm using a different color paper. So, and there you go, guys. Okay. And this one has a lot of marks, but then there's a dotted line around the figure. That's the line that the kids use to cut. So technically, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go this way. So technically, guys, after this, if I'm doing a demo with the shelters, I'm using water-based ink. I have some set up with dryers, head dryers, and they dry the design. It dries in about 5 minutes. And then after that, they can cut it out. So they put the mask on top of the luchador, the Chihuahua luchador. And after that, they put the head into the astronaut it's a tricycle. Okay? And then I started to expand from this idea. And then later, I did another mask of an astronaut with kind of like a spaceship. So the kids can print different designs. They can, can I have this? Can I have that? And at the end, it turns into this kind of like a transformer type of Chihuahua luchador, But let me print this one, guys. You can see it. So, and the kids have so much fun, guys. And this is one of those, how many of you guys remember when you were a kid, you used to go to the flea market or this kind of designs, you have to cut it out and then you glue it all crooked, but you glue it really, do you believe that you glue it really nice? So this is just one of those templates, and I'll show you all the templates that I have. Like I say, guys, this time I got lazy. It's just I have so much work, guys. I'm a professor, by the way, guys. Okay, you're asking. I'm a professional artist, and I'm a professor at UTSA. So I think within the university, I did my BFA there, MFA. I worked there, and now I'm a full professor there, guys. So, and I feel so privileged, that they gave me the opportunity to do that. So. And we've been working so hard, guys. And I'm sorry. So most of the times when I do a demo, I do a new design. So, but I'm gonna recycle these ones, okay? So, like I say, guys, we have these designs. I'm gonna print with different color this time. Beep, beep. All right, come over here. So, you wanna lay it down on top? I mean, all right, go for it. Yeah, let's just lay down on top. Yeah. Oh! No, just kidding. You go, you got it. Right, so we're gonna lay down those sheets in the screen on top, those 4 sheets, all of them. Just get the whole, the back, lay down on top. And then right underneath those newsprint, you're gonna see that felt over there, that piece of that one. That's a felt, yeah. Grab it, just put it on top. And then close the money maker, which is the tortilla press. All right, and then grab the handle, pushing it down, and then apply some pressure, okay? Just watch your fingers, okay? See? That's better, eh? Nah, just keep it on. So there you go, good job. All right, so what we're gonna do now, so what I do, it takes a while, guys, because you have to rotate it and do it again, again, and again. But, it's something really, I guess, traditional, magical. It has something special about tortilla, guys, And when I do it with the kids, it takes me back a little bit, when I used to watch my grandma making tortillas, fresh tortillas, and I remember she used to put like lard and some salt, the sea salt, guys, and that's the way I do, I remember my grandma. But, the coolest thing, guys, about this is really inexpensive, something the kids, they're gonna enjoy. Of course, they have to watch the fingers sometimes, they put the fingers there, and that's bad. But it is always, really great to do something that's traditional, tool, I guess, accessory, utensil, into something that, is used to make art, okay? A lot of my students, guys, they use it to print the business cards, they print it to print stickers, and then when that, guys, they can actually save some money to buy a bigger press and so on, okay? So it's something really, that can open a lot of opportunities. Now, I'm just gonna remove this, and you wanna peel it? All right.
Some people use a car for a printing press, right?
Yeah, they use like one of those rocket, horses, All right, you don't mind if I explain to everyone? So there you go, guys. See, this one has different designs. Has like this kind of like a fire rocket right here, the spaceship, and then another mask for the Chihuahua. So, and I use different colors. I'm gonna have these ones here, guys, but. Whenever I go to the shelters, guys, I try to really have fun with the kiddos. So you see this stuff right here, this is what we call the slab. Even the slabs for me, needs to have a luchador mask on the back. So I try to do something funny. And well, I'm gonna put this one here, you guys can see it. And I'm gonna explain the luchadores, why they're so important for me. And when I have a different machine, guys, I have different templates to do like a puppet, luchador puppet. I'm not gonna print these, guys, because it's not gonna fit in there. So, and the back, guys, of course, So I have this one.
Juan, some of these folks may not go to luchadores. Some people may not go to luchadores.
Oh, I'll let you know what a luchador is. So, a luchador is a wrestler, okay? So this is the puppet, guys. I have different designs. So that means the kids print them, and they cut them out, guys, and they have fun with this, okay? So this is the technical relief, guys. This is a lot of these prints you see here on the walls. It's the same concept. Instead of using a tortilla press, I use a big machine, what we call an etching press. And the etching press allows me to be more precise, more technical, and of course I can go bigger in size, okay? So the ink, the roller, the same concept of pressure, guys, goes into those prints, okay? I'm just using the stamp technique or the relief technique to create my own designs. And after that, I go ahead and print, okay? So I was telling everyone right at the beginning of the conversation today, so art guys, when it comes to printmaking, could be commercial, non-commercial guys, and that non-commercial is gonna be fine art. And I'm choosing the path of fine art. This one, guys, if you go a little bit more into the commercial part, you can print your own shirts, you can print stickers and stuff like that. And of course, you can make a little bit of money to be able to, to buy more materials, say for a trip, say for a residency, for for school, something like that is something that really, really allows you to be more productive in your own time, but also allow you to have another approach, to kind of, be an artist, okay? So, luchadores, guys, I can start with that. So, now, guys, I'm gonna move on to what the art is, but since you already know the concept of this, now I can approach this one a little bit better so you can understand, what it is. So, luchadores for me, guys, is one of those, things that, or kind of culture, guys, okay? It exists in the United States and Mexico as well, but I think it's really part of the Mexican culture, it's really belongs to the popular culture. So one of the things I really love about the luchadores, when I was a kid, I remember every Sunday watching, Octagon, Rayo de Jalisco, Super Porky, fighting, right? Or my mom, mijo, hey, we have to go to church. Like, Mom, Rayo Jalisco is gonna challenge the Cibernetico. Like, no, mijo, we're gonna go to the mass. Oh, Mom. So the luchadores allows me to really help me with my imagination, guys. Help me to have like bad guys and good guys, right? So this series over here, guys, what I'm doing, I have different series here of luchadores. At the very top, guys, I did these two luchadores using the screen printed technique, which is a different technique than this. It's the one they use to print shirts, screen printing. And those two prints at the top has about 40 to 60 layers of colors. So when you see transitional color, guys, in printmaking, especially relief or something like that, I mean, it depends what you're doing. If you use Photoshop, you can just use a CMYK, you're done, right? Just those 4 colors, which is black, red, yellow, and blue. No, I do everything, separate everything, guys. I don't like that technique's too commercial. I'm a more fine art, guys. Whenever you buy or I don't want to say buy, I'm so sorry to use it because this is not about buying. When you go and admire the technique that I do, guys, I want you to really, you want to really invest time. You're looking at my print. So you're gonna see that all the colors printed there is planned. It has to be done using my hands, and I don't rely so much on technology, okay? And I don't say technology is bad or anything like that. No, absolutely not. I'm just a traditional person, and that's it, a traditional artist. So you're gonna notice this series over here, guys. At the top is to actually, relief, screen printing, and right here at the bottom is relief, okay? So all these ones with the peach kind of color frame, it belongs to a series of prints that I call in ¿cómo se llaman? Los picosos. Los picosos, it means like the ones, the spicy ones, okay? The ones that are like, they want to really, fight, So, in Mexico, where I come from, if you're really like a short-tempered person and really like to fight, they call it picoso. Hey, pa que te picas, So it means, don't get upset on why you get, why you get too feisty, So in those years, guys, I started with 10 prints, with 10 different designs. And then after that, I kind of like it. So every year I start to add another 10. And then another year, I started to do more, 10 more designs. So that series, guys, has grown to 40 prints. So if you go onto my website, you're gonna find all this series of luchadores with different designs. And I try to do people that somehow they're my collectors, or they're people that make an impact in the art community. And I ask them, what is your favorite animal? Oh, I like this. I talk to them to know them a little bit. And then I take a photo. I use that photo, guys, to actually do the spiritual animal, or this animal that somehow represents them. And of course, all of them, they're gonna have their own design on mask, a little bit more, colorful, some of them, a little bit more dull, some of them, but it depends who they are. And I have some people that are really serious, for example, you're gonna see like the shark one, and that person, guys, is basically one of my exes, right? And she was cold to me. And I asked, hey, you wanna do this? Sure, And then I took a photo, hey, I'm gonna do a shark and this is gonna be the concept. I'm gonna do cold, like a cold heart. Is that okay? We get along. And she's like, sure. I took the photo, guys, and you have a shark right there. So those, those people and those, those series is people that have somehow have made a mark on me. And the reason why I'm doing this, guys, because the luchadores, as a kid, they leave a mark on me. And I try to have a way to compensate what I missed when my mom used to tell me, let's go to mass. Like, Mom, I want to watch Cibernetico, He's so, like, really had, like, tons of muscles, and he's going to destroy, Octagon, And my mom was like, no, let's go, okay? But one of the things, guys, that I wanted to do with those series is because when I was a kid, I remember going to the store and buying the little, like kind of, packets, guys. You open it, you had like these little cards, like the stamps. You had the album, guys, and then you had like 1 to 1,000 or 1 to 100, and then you get the stamps, and you need to fill in the album. I think they still do it right now, right? So I remember, guys, that I used to go to the, the store, and I used to buy like the little, stamps, and then glue those into the album. If you fill up the album, guys, you can go and exchange it for toys or shirts or something like that. So, and that is a little bit of resembling that. So my plan is to print 100 of those prints and hopefully, fill up the entire wall, okay? So that's color, guys. That's different than black and white. In color, it requires another thing what we call registration. Registration is to check everything lines up because all the layers you see there, guys, they're not done with one single block like this. No. What you do, guys, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks. That every block, guys, is gonna be printing a section of that design. How many of you guys have painted the coloring books where you have to paint, like for example, the background? You shading the background with the color. You want it blue, you painted it blue, right? So that's the same concept here, guys. You want the background, and the background, guys, I had to divide the background, separate the background from the rest. So one design like this is gonna be just dedicated for the background. So that means I print the background. If I'm gonna do 20 prints of that, because printmaking is about making multiples. That's what we call an edition, okay? Those multiples, basically, if I'm gonna do an edition of 20, that means that 20 sheets of paper, it has to have the background. I print the background paper number 1, print the background and paper number 2, and so on, until I get all the way to 20. So once I print the background, then I'm gonna move on to my second, block, which that section could have like the skin color for the face. So I need to print that on paper number 1, print that on paper number 2, and so on until I print all 20. So that's the way I do those, guys. You see there? So doing printmaking, guys, in color, it is time consuming. It's a little bit, I have to do a lot of proofing. I have to modify the color. I consider myself a really colorful person. So those prints that you see there, guys, all those designs, you check them, they have different backgrounds. They have different colors. They have different design on mask. It's another thing, guys, that I want to do, okay? So every time I create a design of those, I had to sit down and really think about what's gonna be my next move. Does that make sense? So, like I say, I really love color, guys. So that box over there where you see with the mask, which is there has some kind of flyers. You're more than welcome to take those flyers. Those explains a little bit what this series is about, okay? You're more than welcome to scan it. It's gonna take you to this statement, which you can read and so on, okay? So the rest, guys, is just black and white, okay? And the black and whites, basically, this is a little bit how I started in this technique. I discovered this technique by accident, you want to call it that way. So this is one of my earliest prints ever. And this print, guys, here, this is my first time using color, multicolor. What happened, I took a book arts class. It was on Fridays. So I registered for classes late. The only class available was book arts on Friday. And all the classes, guys, that I was kind of all over the place. So I took that class. So one of the projects, well, that class was about making books, okay? But one of the projects, we need to make this print, and with that print, we're gonna do the folios, which is they're gonna be for the books, to like the pages for the book. So that one, guys, was my design for that. So what happened during that time, I was a student, I was really broke. I didn't have money. So I remember when I took my basic printmaking class, I had some leftover materials. So the book course, it was an advanced class. It was like a step above from the basic class. So this one right here, I had leftover material like, I'm gonna use linoleum to do this. So I carved it out, right? I printed my design and went into feedback, and my professor, hey, Juan, you really need to really, keep doing, relief. It's gonna help you a lot. Like, no, I don't want to, I was a painter. Like, no, I don't want to, you should do it. They encouraged me because of this print. After that, guys, I started to do this one right here, this one right here, to this one over here. This is my early ages, guys. After that, I started to get really positive, feedback from from my community. I started to have exhibitions in museums, and I was like, okay, I need to, take, relief a little bit more seriously now. So I started to work in series now, and it started to work slightly bigger, what's that size. And now here, you're gonna see a little bit more developed, the imagery. This is what I call my masterpieces. For me, the masterpieces, guys, is kind of like putting my heart, in my artwork to explain a little bit where I come from. This is a little bit more part of the popular culture. It could be a different type of body of artwork. It's something easy to understand. This one, guys, it's gonna require a conversation probably with me to understand little things here and there. But probably you can understand the major things happening in the artwork. But little things here and there, that's when you need probably need a little bit of help, okay? So this here, guys, I did it because of the Maya prophecy, 2012, supposedly that the Mayas had this prophecy that the world's gonna end. It didn't happen, we're still here. So I did this series based on that. So one of the things I wanted to portray, how my community, how they're gonna escape from this destruction. And of course, I was working with vehicles. You're gonna see a lot of vehicles in my compositions. Why vehicles? Because in Mexico, we moved from one place to another place to another place, and then from Mexico, we moved to the United States, and then to Laredo. And from Laredo, we planned to move to Los Angeles. We were never, we never stayed in one place. And for me, the form of movement or transportation, guys, was with me all the time. So when you see these artworks, you're gonna have vehicles representing movement. Does that make sense? And of course, watching my dad, the way he fixed cars, the way he fixed things around the house, it allows me to really, start, designing my own vehicles. I mean, you may see it looks flimsy probably. It may seem that may or may not work. But one of the things, guys, I want you to see in this frame is sometimes about being resourceful is the best thing that you can do to survive. And that's what my family used to do. And these prints right here, guys, you can see just black and white. They're bigger in size. They're more challenging to print. Yes, of course, they're more challenging to print. And I use my dad, for example. This one, guys, I can talk about this a little bit. So that's my dad. I use it as a model. It has the hand like that. Somebody asked me, hey, that's the hand from, whatever, that movement in Germany, right? No, in Mexico, guys, it depends. That's another thing about, iconography. So I was aware of that and somebody pointed out. So somebody told me that's from because of the, whatever, So that hand, guys, for me, in Mexico, we used to have this soccer player named Cuauhtémoc Blanco. And Cuauhtémoc Blanco, every time he scored a goal, he used to go like this with the hand, right? But he started to do that because in Mexico we had the monument of La Diana. La Diana is this, I'm not sure, I think it's a goddess or something like that, or a fighter that has an arch and is shooting an arrow. And he was doing the same thing, like point to this, to the sky. That's the only place you can go. And I did that, so pointed, hey, my dad's going towards the sky. So it depends your background, it depends your beliefs, sometimes even your biases. You can interpret different things, but around cultures, some things may mean something different. Does that make sense? So on this print, why I'm saying this, guys, because, I love this print, and one of the things that, I wanted to really, emphasize is basically survival. How, I was telling about the end of the world. And this design right here, you're gonna have my dad sitting in a couch. So in Laredo, there's one word that we use a lot for cars. It's called a vehicle. We call it mueble. So when say, hey, the truck, we say, hey, what is the mueble? Mueble means furniture in English. So it's a playing words, guys. Sometimes, hey, where's the mueble? You know, where's the truck? Where's the car? But they say mueble, either or, you know, car, truck, it doesn't matter. Hey, where's the mueble? So, and I play with the words, guys. So this is a vehicle in a couch, what we call it mueble. So, and then one of the things too, guys, in my artwork, I like to play with the Spanglish, but also mixing words in a way that sounds funny, because in my family, I come from a really, funny, background with my parents. They're always, I mean, they're really nice when it comes, they're always happy about everything. So you're gonna have this couch right here with the Maya pyramid right here at the bottom, and then the back, you're gonna have the Mayan calendar. And he's kind of flying towards the sky, going to where, a really good place out there, okay? But all these years right here, guys, you're gonna have something that, these characters, they really care about their family, about their culture, or they care about survival too. So you're gonna find different things on these artworks that you can actually, hopefully you feel connected with, okay? For example, the last one, guys, I was trying to do something that if something happened to us, what will be the first thing you're gonna take with you? Because I'm Mexican, I will take the tacos with me, okay? And of course, you need meat for the tacos, right? Guess what? They have some tacos, some cats there, okay? So watch out next time he's gonna buy tacos from me, okay? So, but I was trying to do like this vehicle, guys, has like a taco stand, and then it has, of course, you have like the mascots, which is the cats, and you have all these kind of designs, guys, representing a little bit of rascuachismo, which is, kind of like a really assembling something from, different parts and so on, okay? So this, continue with this series over here, you're gonna notice that this is still part of the 2012 series, and it's still dealing with how you're gonna escape the destruction of the world, survival and so on. And this one right here, guys, you have the rascuache head, guys. No, sorry, the rascuache raccoon, okay? Which is a tacuache, no, I could be wrong. Not tacuache, no, it's oh my God, how to say in Spanish, the raccoon? It's gonna come to me. Tacuache. Mapache. I mean, mapache, tacuache, it kind of sounds familiar. I always get confused with those two. So, but I have these guys, I was walking one time, from my job, and I see these raccoons eating food. Well, as soon as they saw me, they started to climb, this kind of like a fence, and one was hanging. I was like, what are you doing, dude? I was like, I gotta catch you right now, I'm not gonna do that. But I really love how, daring they are, And then I feel like that energy, I feel like this character needs to have that type of energy. You're gonna have the helmet, you have headdress on top of that, you have a helmet. That kind of, sometimes it's rascuachismo or this kind of like inventive, vehicles, it kind of gets ridiculous sometimes, okay? But then guess what, guys? You're gonna have your mariachi, painted on, on the side of the hood of your, your vehicle. But this is like a hot rod, guys, and this one, it kind of takes me back in time on the 2000s when American choppers, all these, motorcycle vehicles, shows in Discovery Channel, they were really popular. They influenced me to do all these guys, and me thinking about vehicles, movement, it really nurtured my career in that way. So this one over here, guys, now we're moving on to something more different. This is more about identity. So this one actually is dealing with a little bit whether you're from here or from Mexico or neither or. Does that make sense? So this one is actually, you have to really label yourself where you're from, right? For example, one of the things that a lot of people ask me, where do I feel closer to? Which culture, right? Either the Mexican or the American one, right? So for me, guys, I feel like both of them, they have given me so much. It's really hard to pick. So sometimes I feel like in the middle, you're about to shoot yourself like a slingshot. Where you're gonna land, where you're gonna land. But you don't know. I like to be in limbo and stay like that all the time. But still embracing all the cultures that I need to, for me to, identify most, for me. So, I mean, I'm Latino, Mexicano, but I feel like the American culture has given me so much as well. So it's always to appreciate the culture. And this print over here is basically talking a little bit about the imagination of kids. So my little brother, this is my little brother, and he was pretty lucky because when I came here, I didn't have a role model except for my parents. But he was pretty lucky because we were in college, at that point, and he was just barely like probably like 6, 7 years old. And then one of the things we used to tell him, hey, make sure you study, make sure you need help for this, make sure you need something, let us know. And we always try to nurture him in a way that, hey, if you want to do things, try to use imagination. With imagination, you can fly everywhere. And when I decided to do my brother and this balloon represent a little bit that, gift of creativity that they have. And I remember my kid my little brother make fun of me all the time. And I really love that kind of like a relationship that I have with my brother. Now he's an adult, he's doing his master's at Tamuk, he's gonna, and then I feel like you have really good role models. They allow you to express yourself when you're a kid. What happened to me as well when I was in Mexico in the ranch, my parents, they always support us. I used to go, get like pieces of stick to use in like little cars and everything. They never make fun of us. They always support us as we are. And I feel like I need to give that back to my brother. Now he's actually going the right route. So always support people that somehow they want to express themselves in a creative, way. For example, they want to sing, let them sing. They want to jump in the bed, let them break the bed, I guess. But sometimes that is basically it's needed for people to really, You like to sing, guys, don't feel ashamed. If you don't really release or you don't spread yourself to the audience, for example, right now, I'm probably insecure, maybe, but, I need to do all these things, guys, for me to be an artist, guys. If you're going to make an artwork, do it, exhibit it. If they say no, guess what? There's other 10 shows. But always encourage yourself first, encourage other people to do it. Because you don't do it, guys, there's no way you're gonna have those opportunities. Does that make sense? That's what I used to tell my brother. Dude, go to this, there's actually, like this kind of like a campus visit to this, to another college. Take it. Like, no, it's too expensive. We have to pay money, $20. Dude, there you go, $20. But always encourage other people to do what they think is the right thing. This print over here, guys, going a little bit more like kind of like customizable devices. So this one, I try to portray people from my community the way they customize devices. For example, the popsicle people, they always put like bells, they always put like this kind of like a rims, they always put stickers, they put something really nice into the cards. And that's the way that I don't want to say I want to say they brag, but I think that's the way they show their creative process, but also the way they can call people and really, force you to appreciate a little bit what they do. So this print right here, I did this character, which is, I think that for me, it was kind of a little bit more like making fun of him. But if you put into context, guys, this is a bicycle, okay? You see the bigger wheels is in the front and the smaller one is in the back. So the deal is, guys, I was trying to make fun of these characters, and this guy always has this really a nicer bicycle than me all the time. But I did a small bicycle in the back. So basically for him to move, it will take more, more kind of like rotations or whatever, more pedaling to advance. So basically this guy is gonna get nowhere where I can get somewhere. That's the way to say, dude, I'm better than you, okay? So, and sometimes, guys, there's things in my artworks that I'm making fun of some people. Sometimes I'm making fun of my own community in a real subtle way, beautiful way, to say, hey, let's race, let's work together. And sometimes it's more political. On this one right here, guys, you see this guy with the cap talking about the workers. And sorry, guys, the climate right now is different than what happened like 10, 50 years ago. But that print, I'm not gonna go really deep into that, but it talks a little bit more about labor. I don't try to challenge, our group or anything like that. I like to represent what we're going through, and that's it. Does that make sense? I don't try to take, sides or anything like that. I hear that's the only thing that I can say, okay? But that's a little bit more political. I don't wanna go so much into that. This print over here, guys, it talks a little bit about, I remember my dad, he used to tell me, hey, mijo, when are you gonna finish this, this assignment? Or, how come you haven't painted the walls? Eres un huevón, which means you're a lazy person, And then you have your friends, dude, you should get some batteries, O dale con huevos. Tienes huevos? Like, it depends the concept, guys. Huevo means eggs, okay? Well, eggs provides, some kind of like energy, right? So we use it, hey, dale con huevos. It means, hey, put some energy into it. Hey, ponle pilas. pilas, it means batteries. So I did this print, guys, to show this character being pulled when he's trying to be lazy, guys, in a way, and he's being pulled by this rooster, guys, with some batteries and rockets and everything to emphasize. If somebody is trying to tell you, hey, make sure you get it done quick, sometimes you need a little bit of push. Make sense? So then the last part, guys, of this gallery, you're gonna have 3 prints over here. And I'm gonna start with this one over here. And I reflected myself when I'm gonna get older, because I'm bold, guys, and I'm pretty cool about it, But one of the things, guys, is, what's gonna happen, guys, with me. So what I wanted to do, guys, I did this print for a portfolio exchange, and then they asked me to do my own kind of like a rhyme, something like poetry. So, and I was trying to be mean because, the way I put this one together, I was trying to have no teeth on the guy, He was chewing pork rinds. You have no teeth, it's pointed to chewing, right? Because, basically you have to have like a strong bite. So basically, what I wanted to say in the rhyme, if you eat pork rinds, your hair is gonna grow. But you have no teeth, how your hair is gonna grow, right? So sometimes it's about, vanity. And I feel like, making that statement is for me to embrace, hey, I'm gonna be bold. I don't care, And of course it has this pig with, grabbing it, probably gonna make some chicharrones or pork rinds for later. You're gonna have some salsa right here. And of course, my grandparents, they used to wear like these really long socks, like really, kind of loose at the top and it kind of like goes to the bottom, And I try to portray a little bit, everything that I see in my community, okay? So basically this one, guys, it talks about this guy who actually, the miracle is not gonna happen because you're lacking of things, okay? And sometimes you need to have faith, of course you need to have will, and you need to have a lot of things that, it needs to combine together and luck. Sometimes it's luck too, guys, okay? But probably you can get away with one or two things, but the deal is you need to try things, okay? On this one, guys, is political, this two right here. And this one talks a little bit about the certain, system. So when I started to do prints, I started to be more vocal about certain things. And then I figured out that, that route, I didn't want it. It's not so much for rejection of galleries or anything like that. I feel like I wanted to do something different that hasn't been done in my community, There's a lot of activist groups that really, do posters and stuff like that. And I feel like I wanted to really portray the happiness of my family, portray the positive things about my, community, rather than, go and do something that I feel like still we need to be, speak about it, right? But I feel like it wasn't me. So a lot of things that I have in my prints, there's kind of like something, you want to put it a little bit more into political message, they're more subtle. I don't try to slap. I don't try to, say this is right or wrong, because there's other group that they think this is right and we're wrong. So I try to be in a point where I'm neutral and I'm trying to just to portray the beauty of my community instead of the anger of my community. And that's the reason why, when I did this, is when I started to, it was kind of new to this movement. It started the Chicano movement and all these things that somehow make me what I am today. But right now I feel like, we have a job to do within the community, but sometimes, I feel like I do better in other areas, which my community is lacking of. And I want to represent, like I said, the beauty. Okay? With that being said, guys, I really thank you for this, but then what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to open I'm not sure we have time, and then for questions, you're more than welcome to ask me questions, guys. So go for it. Get questions. Don't be shy. I do talk a lot, guys, and I apologize for that. So